Someone's asking, can I flash my 2022 S5 without breaking in engine? Also waiting on 034 intake. When you buy a new Audi, they give you no instructions on breaking it in, and I really don't think any are needed. My break-in technique has been to buy a new car and drive the fucking shit out of it, which is what I do to every car I drive, no matter whether it's new or old or whatever. And I've never had a problem with any of my engines. In fact, usually the cars that I drive from new have very good compression and leak down and actually make a lot more power.
Yeah, historically, it's actually worked out really well here to just drive it. Sure, maybe your initial oil change is on the short side for the first change, but if you want to be extra careful. But other than that, as far as driving it and the way it's driven, we've always kind of...
Yeah. An engine that's properly built should break in within a few seconds, really. There's a new cylinder bore has a crosshatch purposely put in it that acts as an abrasive on like a file to the piston rings that are new. So the piston rings are not the same shape as the cylinder. Now they're both practically perfectly round for all practice, as far as the human eye could see. But when you look closer, the two surfaces do not conform to the degree that they should to give you a good seal. And so the piston rings where the cylinder is smooth, and the cylinder walls where the piston rings to the right shape. And so if you've ever used a file, how easy it is to remove metal. And so if you drive your motor for a few minutes and it's at an average of 2,000 RPM, that's an incredible activity and movements of those two surfaces interacting with each other. So engines don't take days or weeks to break in. I think if they're built improperly, they could take longer to break in. But typically, those engines will never break in properly. And so what I found is, we've done leak down compression tests on a brand new motor that's never been run, and the numbers are terrible. And we started it and ran it for like a minute, revved it up and down, put some load on it, shut it off, perfect compression and leak down.
And you can see even
after like a minute.
Yeah, it doesn't take long at all. You'll have these are on like one-off built motors, which are let's say depending on tolerances and repeatability, but not going to be the same as a factory that's making millions of motors.
No.
So yeah, maybe one or two cylinders might take a little bit longer, but we're talking minutes, not days, hours, thousands of miles kind of thing.
There's a lot of voodoo and snake oil around breaking engines in, and people are pulling out bath salts and sniffing things.
Oh, it also comes back to one of those things like the OEM has Audi, Volkswagen, whoever has full control over the motor, what kind of power can be delivered, and how it knows the mileage, it knows all the conditions the motor's operating in. If there was a strict, you have to do this braking procedure for a new motor, it would be programmed in the ECU. It'd literally be reduced power output, reduced red lines, reduced everything for X amount of miles until the thing's broken in. It wouldn't give you, whatever amount of boost or performance, under a certain temperature or whatever.
Some cars have that already.
And some do. Some have that, and, I'm sure maybe that's their gimmick or strategy or it's required. But I'd say if the OEMs are unleashing you to do full beams, then you're usually pretty good.
All right. So, flash it, drive it, enjoy it.
Yep.
Drive it hard. Cars are kind of like human bodies. They don't like sitting around doing nothing. You might enjoy it, but your body benefit from that.
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of the times too, like the older the car, with the lower the mileage it has on it, the more problems typically has. Even if it's fairly new 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old car, if it's got hundreds or thousands of miles only on it, it's gonna have some issues.
That is really interesting. Even houses are like this. If you built 2 houses and you lived in one of them and the other one just sat, it would just start falling apart. Because
it's insane. The walls literally peel off, the ceilings collapse.
The whole thing would fall into disrepair. So unless you could somehow hermetically seal it and humidity control chamber.
maybe, but yeah, there's a lot of things on like just if they need to breathe, they need that movement of air. They need the
Yeah, in cars, the movement of things lubricates and
Yep.
keeps them maintained.
And same goes for like just stuff we've dealt with here. But you get like a low mileage junkyard motor. That low mileage motor might have been sitting for 5-6 years, so you don't know the history on it. It the recent example we got here, like terrible injectors in it, even though it had 13,000 miles on
Oh
it.
God, yeah, it was
They
bad.
they were like non-flowing injectors. So yeah, use it.